Yeah. Um, well, they don't want people to travel, do they? I mean, that's the underlying element. Well, the European Union is said by, this is in the European Union documents, they stated by 2050 they don't want private individuals to travel more than 15 minutes from their home.
Mm.
That's the stated objective of the European Union. Now, if you're traveling for business, you may have permission to travel further than that, but they want every city in Europe divided into 15-minute zones. And
Mm.
no private individual will be allowed outside of that 15-minute area. They, 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 they have videos on it, right? They have instructional videos about how to build these cities, and uh,
Mm.
and that's their plan. And it's not very good for business development. If you're an already established business, it might be very good for you because you can't have any competition if competition doesn't have any transportation.
Yeah.
It's uh, it's going to be very difficult to build a new business if you don't have the the access to the same resources and roads and transportation elements as other people have. And and it's and in my opinion, it's not very practical. Um, it's it's not very progressive. That's for sure. Traveling less doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, if surely
Mm.
if technology is progressing, we ought to be traveling more rather than traveling less. Um, we ought to be traveling further, and we ought to be traveling faster if there
Mm.
is if there is progress in that area, not not traveling less and more slowly. Um, the other element is that electricity can be very highly regulated and very highly
Yep.
measured, um, and that's another issue to consider. But there's definitely not enough. I, I don't know. I don't see how electric cars are better than diesel or petrol driven cars. I don't see how that is possible. They're not better. They're different. They're definitely different. It's a
Yeah.
different way of looking at things. And in terms of production, it's a loss of jobs. I mean, think about how many components and parts are in a diesel engine or petrol engine, and how many companies are related to that. And then if you take the electric system, you could argue the electric system is cleaner, but it's not really. Most electric chargers have diesel backups because they know the electric can't work, right?
Yeah.
And there was a story in the news I read this week that one of the European countries, I can't remember exactly which country, I put it on my Twitter. Um, one of the European countries, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was, I don't know, it was like Denmark or Finland or something. They had to stop all buses. They had to stop all buses because it was too cold to charge them. Now, that doesn't happen with diesel buses. That doesn't happen
Yeah.
with well, I don't know if there are petrol driven buses, but it doesn't happen with that kind of transportation. And where you have cold climates, if you're trying to do everything electrically, it just won't work. It
Mm.
just won't work. The electrics don't function in the same way that a diesel engine does, at least at the moment with technology the way that it is. Um, so it's going to slow everything down. And the idea that it's better for the environment is bullshit. It's not true. It's not true at all. It's a complete lie. First of all, the mining of the batteries and the components for the batteries is extremely harmful to the environment. And secondly, every time a plane flies, there's more pollution than like one plane flight is 100 years of car pollution. Think
Mm.
about all the rockets. I mean, one of Elon Musk's rockets taking off and going into space is more pollution than the entire history of humanity with cars, right?
Mm.
What about, you can't stop certain environmental pollutions as well, like volcanoes. Volcanoes produce more pollution in the environment than cars. So it doesn't make much sense to argue that it's cleaner, greener, and better for the environment. It's definitely different. And I don't like you said, I don't see why we can't. We need to have a choice. We need to be able to say this way or that way.
Mm.
Because if we transfer all to electric and we have to do things like not travel and we can't travel when it's cold and there's still elements still have to be produced and mined, and I question the Elon Musk philosophy about the future. So some things are good, but it's not all good, that's for sure. The future belongs to the producers anyway, those who build. So that's for sure.